Hey, I'm just introducing this new map called Lathe. It's made for duel or one-on-one for Unreal Tournament 4, which is the new Unreal Tournament in development but on pause. It's a very circular layout. It's based on another map that I made called Dying Sun, which was kind of square, and I always wanted to remake it as a circle, more or less, because it is like a circular map. And it's called lathe because to make it I made use of heavy use of the lathe tool, which basically creates geometry brushes in a circular shape. So it kind of lays them around an axis. So that's how it's not, there are still faces. You can see the edges if you look carefully on lots of things, and some of the brushes are still very much just big blocks. I think like this one is just one big block that's not particularly curved at all. So there still needs to be a lot of things that that change. That's why it's called lathe, and I'm pretty happy with it because it kind of has a medieval sound to it as well, like, lathing. Although I'm sure lathing is still a thing. It's a woodwork thing, I think, as well, or primarily, I don't know. Anyway, lathe. I also was experimenting a lot with the visual themes of the levels, and you actually have 3 different ambient audios as well. So let's go right up the top. No. Okay, whatever. Up the top here you have a very windy ambient audio, like the wind rushing across the top, and if you drop down a little bit you have a kind of more of a resonating wind sound, like a howling wind. And there's a little bit less light as well, so it's kind of like the atmosphere changes a bit. And if you drop right down to the bottom, there's kind of bubbling, it's got a high pass on the sound, so it's a very low rumbling bubble. So you meant to sound like you're fallen into the sewer or a grotto or something. So yeah, it's based on Dying Sun, which was major items low, weapons and things mostly in the middle, and vials and things mostly on the top. Excuse my voice. And this is just in case people play deathmatch on it. I've put the amp in and the thing just right there, so you come to this place for both of those items. Some major items such as the 100 armor and the 150 armor are low. Yes, you can just run from one to the other, but you're running through this water, so you're very audible, and I guess it's a bit risky. What was I gonna mention? Yeah, so the idea is that new players spawn up the top, so instead of just spawning near the in-control player who's likely below somewhere, like it's likely that you've been fragged contesting an armor, so you'll spawn up here and you'll be able to get some decent weapons, get a decent stack before contesting again. So that was the basic idea behind Dying Sun, and this is the idea behind this map as well. The major difference between the two is that health is not on the middle level. Health is pretty close to the armors, which is basically basically to encourage those engagements over the armor. So we'll just see how that plays out, I guess. So it's ready to play. It's not buggy or anything. It's not finished. There's still a little bit of BSP work to do, and it's still just a shell, even though it's got these nice epic textures on it. But you can see even the texturing needs a lot of work. It's not perfect, but I think it feels nice. It's got a nice atmosphere, and there's this fog stuff, which and a little bit of post-processing when you're down the bottom as well to make it look like it's very wet. So there's a little bit of extra bloom and some gamma control as well to offset that bloom, because bloom kind of makes it brighter, and I use the gamma to drag the average brightness down as well. Doesn't really show up on low settings, so you know, for competitive players, they're not going to be too bothered by it because it's all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty much invisible on low. So you know, in case it gets played by casual players who like pretty things, that's for that. So this fog kind of gets lit by the directional light. Unfortunately, it only gets lit from one direction. I'm waiting for this volumetric fog. Hopefully, when frauding a slip there, volumetric fog that will hopefully be included in a hypothetical future update to Unreal Tournament. As you know, we've been waiting for a while. I don't think there's any major problems. It's just that they've had another game, Fortnite, which has been very successful, so they're all focused on that. And eventually, who knows, I'm a patient guy, so I'll give them a few years. Eventually they'll come and do some more work on UT. And in the meantime, it's up to people like us to make some good quality content. I'm not saying this is good quality content. I think the map works, I think it could be fun. And I'm inviting people to try some duels on it, or even you know, 3 or 4 man deathmatch, or 2 versus 2 TDM. And you know, tell me how it goes as well. I'll make a forum post for the map, and yeah, I'll leave it in your hands. So enjoy yourselves. There's a little trick you can do here, but it's not very easy to get into the rocket. You can also do a little jump here, but that's not very easy either. It's not a particularly trick-laden map, but I think that's good for 1 versus 1. I personally think so, because it makes the gameplay more about strategy and less about you know, unpredictable maneuvers. Although I'm sure there are a few that will appear over time. I've minimized these. You used to be able to do a lift jump right up here, but I've decided that no, someone should be coming from the major item on the map right to the top, because this area is, you know, this is the out of control area to get back in the game. Sorry, the out of control player to get back in the game. Alright, so I hope you enjoy Lathe, and yeah, let me know how it goes. Thank you very much.